people on or YouTube and Facebook. Hope you guys are doing well today. Bang up weekend for me. It's been a minute, so I appreciate all you guys. What's up, Yolanda? Hi. Thanks for joining. Herr der Schlick Croton joined. Johnny Cologne, what's up, bro? So yeah, here we are. It's another week. Man, crazy shit. I'm always hustling. Hope you guys are hustling because shit ain't going to happen unless you do it, right? It is not going to happen unless you do it. In fact, I want to talk to you guys about, today I want to talk about goals. And how do you know if your goals are actually big enough, right? It's one thing to have your goals, but it's another thing to make sure they're big enough. I mean, you got to take your goals serious, okay? Let me show you something. Let me show you a little something. See this shit right here? I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen there. I write my goals every single morning when I first wake up, and I write them every single evening before I go to bed. That's how serious I take my goals. But guess what? I accomplish my goals. It's part of it because I take them serious. So they're at the top of my mind. Okay? How many times a day are you hearing about fucking COVID or Biden or Trump or some other dumb shit that don't really matter to you? It doesn't really matter, okay? If you think it matters, you got fucking to get engaged in your own fucking life, okay? So you need to be able to at least be hearing your own goals as many times as you hear this bullshit or the ad for fucking some stupid pharmaceutical thing you don't need, right? You need to be having your goals present. Let's see here. We got Nebulous King joined, Luca Perucci, Joel, Johnny Cologne says, have goals so big that I'm embarrassed to tell people. That's the title of this talk. Johnny, I love it, dude. You're a true student, bro. You are really, really coachable. Yolanda, are we talking short-term goals or long-term goals? Daily. Short-term goals, that's called a fucking to-do list, all right? So we're talking big, ridiculous goals. And this is exactly what Johnny said. That's the title of today's talk, is that your goals should be so big that it's embarrassing for you to talk and share with other people right now. It should make you uncomfortable. Should make you even maybe a little bit scared. Okay. Joel says, amen. What's up, Morbius755? Joel Drizak, Ridzak. I'm sorry if I messed your name up. Goals are the number one priority. Damn right, bro. You have to have big goals, and you have to keep them front of mind. This is all just mindset shit. This isn't even pulling the trigger. Okay. But if you don't do this stuff, it ain't gonna happen for you. I don't know what to tell you, man. Don't know what to tell you. Okay. We got Roland, Isaiah, L. Tom, Jesse Starship, Douglas, Yolanda Diaz. My goals are big, but I'm trapped in a town I'm not from. Okay, listen. I don't care. And everything after but is an excuse. Okay, you can either make progress or you can make excuses, but you can't do both. Okay, so here's the thing. You got to get yourself a coach. Why? Because a coach cares about results. A coach is about accountability. I had to talk to people about this weekend because there were some people that were not really fantastic humans, but they were having resistance to being coachable. And that comes for a variety of reasons. Sometimes what Billy Robinson used to call the schoolboy champion mentality, where it's like you had a couple wins and now you think you fucking know everything. There's a million reasons why people are not coachable. But if you have a coach, the number one job of the coach is accountability. They're going to keep you accountable. Your coach isn't there to kiss your ass, be your therapist, listen to your fucking life and whining. Get a therapist, pay a therapist. The coach is there to tell you not what you're doing right, but to tell you what you're doing wrong and to make sure you get the results. Okay? That is the purpose. So I'm not being mean. I'm not. I'm wanting you to succeed. Right? And sometimes, so I coach a lot of people, mostly athletes that are, trying to get wrestling for mostly MMA or grappling. Okay. So those of you who don't know me from that domain, it's this catch as catch can wrestling, scientific wrestling. It's really a hybrid grappling art honestly. Catch as catch can is the core of what we teach. But even what I was taught by my coach, Billy Robinson, is a hybrid of Greco-Roman and catch as catch can. Okay. And then we added, not only like if you go get my BJJ Fanatics DVD, catch wrestling takedowns, most of that is 1950s Greco-Roman tech that has been adapted to the catch as catch can submission grappling with pins game. Fair? And in addition to that, we added in the folk style element from my coach, Wade Chalice, my mentor, or another one of my mentors, Wade Chalice, to add the folk style pinning and takedown and some of his pedagogy to make people killers. If you guys, so who on the call was at camp last weekend? Anybody? If you did, pipe up in the chat. We had a killer camp. We always have killer camps, but like we had a killer camp. Okay. So we pushed through, burned through. There's some very special things that we do. Oh, Stellar Steven. Yeah. What's up, Stellar Steven? You feel like we burned through a lot of stuff and upped your game in just one weekend, in 2 days? Say something in the chat if you don't mind. Yolanda Diaz says, so ideally, what would be your opinion, a good goal for someone who's very intuitive and smart? Just your opinion, what direction would that person want to go? Well, what is your goal? Okay. And I'm saying, again, I want a big goal. So, I'm another one of my mentors is Grant Cardone. The guy's a fucking genius. I don't know what to tell you. Like, here's what I would recommend. Go pick up this book. Okay. Yolanda, get the 10X rule. Get it on Audible, get it on, you can get it at Amazon as a book, whatever. Get that book and read it or listen to it on Audible, whatever. That would honestly be my first suggestion for you as a general, broad, very specific. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome, Yolanda. It'll change your life. It's a great book, especially on this subject. Morgan, I literally went to the hotel after day one of the camp and told my fiance, quote, Coach Jake is the nicest dude off the mats, but once he's on the mat, it's all business. He's rough and serious about what he does. Dude, that's straight. You know what I love about that, Morgan, is that's the exact thing that was Billy Robinson as well. And so, man, I love that. That means that I did my job well, right? And I'll tell you, I was with Billy for 7 years. Okay. We'll talk one of my grappling mentors. The other thing is go get with the very best guys that you can, right? I went with Billy Robinson, Wade Chalice, Carl Gotch, Dick Cardinal, a little bit of time with Gene LaBelle. Like I went to Frank Shamrock. Okay. I went to the best, like there's no questioning, to the top, because it shortens. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. These guys have done so much and know so much. That's why I went with Grant Cardone, okay, and Brandon Dawson and a couple other of my mentors, right? Morgan says, and that's a real coach. Yeah, thanks, bro. I do care. I am a nice person, but I'm also like, so I coach all kinds of people. And this morning I was coaching a sales team. And one of the things that you have to understand is you have to be fucking nosy. The energy is almost like the energy of a very good parent in a way. If you had a good parent, you might have resented them when you were growing up because they were always on you. They were up on in your business, telling you what to do, all this kind of stuff. But they were trying to get results out of you. Those are the people who actually fucking care. The people who just let you fly by and eat whatever you want and get fat and all that. I'm sorry. They're and you could give them all the excuses you want, like how they came up or whatever. But the fact is they're not holding you accountable and they're not pushing you, man. And they don't want you to succeed then. Sometimes it's a rough fucking pill to swallow. and a lot of times, sometimes it's some of the closest people to you. Stellar Steven, let's see, what do you say here? I'm glad I could work on stand-up and Half Nelson will help me get back to side control. Yeah, and Steven, I don't mean to bring our particular interactions up during camp, but I think it's useful. Steven showed up, fucking grinded it out. This is a hard camp. It is very hard, and did great. But one of the things, and this happens to a lot of guys, is when they're trying to learn something new, they get so stuck in their head. They're trying to analyze, and it slows you down. So one of the things I did with Steven, I said, turn off your brain and let me control your body externally through my coaching, through the words. And boom, started to click. And the other thing is it takes consistency. In your case, Steven, this was your first camp, right? That's why it takes 20 camps minimum before you're even really able to fully coach people. That was the very minimum, right? Like 20, that's, let's call that 300 to 500 hours of mat time being coached before you really start being a full coach. Anyway, what's Stellar Steven say here? Right. Oh, okay. So, anyway, guys, yeah, so much good news. I can't even contain it. I hope you guys can feel my energy. I'm even sitting down. I've thought about lifting this sign up so I could do it standing, but I'm afraid it would be like too much caffeine. I might cause like AFib or something in half you guys because of my energy levels. My energy is crazy always. If you see me and I'm not at this level of intensity, it's because I've been burning it like hard. And I'm just exhausted. Even when I'm exhausted, I still got a ton of energy. That's because I love what I'm doing and I got big fucking goals, right? So let's just talk scientific wrestling. We can talk other goals too outside of scientific wrestling. I use scientific wrestling as almost a case study a lot for people. But I have No1 coaching in that field. I just was offered the job and I accepted it as a 10X Grant Cardone elite coach. I think there's only like 30 of us on the planet. So I'm actually one of the few people on the planet that Grant gives money to instead of taking, right? And I'm super proud of that. I worked my ass off for that in the last year. That was a huge goal. In 2023, I have goals of acquiring 3 or 4 rental properties, right? So I could start building passive income and converting more of my earned income into passive income. But let's stick to scientific wrestling. So today, by the way, congratulations, Alex Morris, our newest affiliate out of Prescott, Arizona. Let's give Alex a woo woo. Now we got dude, we're building locations all over, dude. People are jumping in. So we now we have 10 affiliates and Alex is number 10. So I'm super duper stoked. And that is part of my mission, right? This is a mission that was put on me by Billy. Billy never gave compliments, ever. In the 7 years I was with him, very seldom gave compliments. And he gave me a huge one. And it's like totally become my life's mission. That's when you have a good coach. They don't give you compliments very often. And when they do, it really means something. Not just, oh, here's your gold star, Johnny, and for doing fucking nothing. It's because you actually accomplished something, right? What does Billy say? He said that, Jake is a great learner, and because of him, without a doubt, Catch Can's going to come back. Holy fuck. That's a compliment, but it's also so much pressure, especially from a guy of that magnitude, right? A huge name, legend, like a legend among legends. So anyway, thank you, Alex. You joined the mission. You're on my mission. Everybody knows the mission, hopefully by now, right? For scientific wrestling, if you're in that world, to improve the lives of every man, woman, and child on the planet through scientific wrestling as a fan, athlete, coach, or promoter, or a combination of all of the above. That is our mission. And now we've got 10 people on the mission. Our goal is to hit, I want to hit 25 affiliates in 2023. I want to hit 25 more affiliates. And in the following year, I want to be at 100. So, I'm being very, very aggressive on my goals. And that's what I'm trying to share with you guys. Man, we just had a crap ton of people join in. Sorry, I didn't say, hey, we got Doomsday, Blanca the Grappler, Julian, Craig. Oh, Mastermind. What's up, Dan? Logan, Jay. Oof, we got a lot of guys popping in. Let's see. What's Stellar Steven say? He says, I will say the camp will open doors. I got more wrestlers following me and asking me if I'm busy this Saturday. Dude, it's, so woo. Okay, so here's the thing. For example, Sam Cresson, who I am growing this company, you have to understand you can't do everything yourself. This has been something that has held me back as I try to do everything myself. And then there's only so much I could do because there's only so much Coach Jake to go around. Right. So for me, one of the hardest, most challenging things, honestly, has been to delegate and to let other people do things. And for good reason, right? Because some people can't trust. I've tried to delegate to some people and they're fucking trash and they fuck you over. But that's part of the process. Now, somebody that I do trust is Sam, right? Sam has been with me forever, has really paid dues. And so now I'm transitioning to really make Sam do a lot of the coaching and the training. And I feel like he's really crushing it now, right? So I can now step out and start doing more of the expansion stuff. So not only did I get hired by Grant Cardone, we got our 10th affiliate this weekend. Hey, what's up, Marco? We got Cannon in the house. Billy Bongo, More Than Jake, Rodek. Good to see you guys. So I got hired by Grant Cardone, added a 10th Scientific Wrestling affiliate location. What else? Oh, have you guys seen on Netflix The Anarchists? Anybody? Raise your hand. That documentary about Anarcho Polko. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's actually pretty good. I watched it. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's on Netflix. It's definitely one of those binge things. It's like crazy. So effectively what it is, it's a bunch of libertarians that all decided, they held a conference in Acapulco. This is just a couple years prior to COVID. They held a conference and it blew up. It was super popular. And a bunch of people actually began to expat to Acapulco. And they started like this anarchist community and commune. And what was really interesting is that you had half of the group was, really into Bitcoin because Bitcoin's real popular amongst libertarians. And then the other half, they're more like libertarians, more like homesteaders, or I don't know what you call it. Like, they're more like, what do you call it when you're a survivalist? You know what I'm talking about? Like living off the grid. So you had these two camps. Well, Bitcoin goes crazy. And all of a sudden you see this fork, the super wealthy who now keep, they're super rich in this commune. And then the ones that are all poor, and it splits. And then all the drama that ensues. And one of the people got murdered by the drug cartels down there. It was a big story. That's why they were able to make this whole thing. So it's called Anarcho Polko. Anyway, after COVID, it kind of like crashed, right? So yeah, prepper. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, they're right, preppers. But so after COVID, obviously lockdowns fucked everything up. Conferences were all messed up. Anyway, so they rebranded as AnarchoVid, right? Like, because it's going to be done on video and COVID, AnarchoVid. I'm super excited. I got invited to be a speaker at that. So that's going to be happening on the 20th, just a couple days from now. I think it's Sunday, the 20th or whatever. I will be sure to put out links and whatnot so you guys could join. I don't know if you guys know who Larkin Rose. Anybody ever heard of Larkin Rose or Spike Cohen? There are other speakers that are going to be on. They're kind of big shots in that field, but I'm excited to be on the same stage with big names like that. So just racking up wins, but that's because of having big goals. I have to reach as many people as I can. My mission to improve the lives of every man, woman, that's 8 billion people. A billion's 1,000 million, a million's 1,000,000. Oh, we broke 25,000 followers on Instagram. We added over 3,000 followers this month alone. I think it was like 3,300. Another massive win. My wife's company, who I am very deeply involved with, broke major revenue milestones this year as well. Huge goals, right? So for you to hit your goals, have you ever heard the analogy, aim for the stars, hit the moon? If you aim for the stars, you might actually hit the stars. That's what I'm going for. But even if you don't, at least you hit the moon. Because the people who are aiming for the moon might not even leave the atmosphere. So aim big. Accomplishing a big goal takes the same amount of energy as it does to accomplish a half-ass goal. Does that make sense? I don't even know if that makes any sense for you guys. So anyway, okay, what questions you guys got for me? Anything? Give me a roll call, whatever. Johnny Clone, I'm trying to spread the word of catch wrestling to everyone I know. Okay, so here's another thing. Not all catch wrestling is created equal. I'm going to be honest. Like, there's a lot of people out there that are, and this goes for any product, that sell a crappy product. You might want to push scientific wrestling. That's where you came up, who you know, right? Like, they don't even, like, let's talk about somebody else, 10th Planet. They don't even call it jiu-jitsu. They say, I do 10th Planet. It means something, just like scientific wrestling. That you're a scientific wrestler means something more than just a catch wrestler. Because you could learn catch wrestling from some fat slob in a garage who's a no-name, did nothing, or scientific wrestling who pretty much recreated the entire field, launched the competitive movement, and has curriculum from Billy Robinson and the Guinness record holder for the most wins, pins in all of wrestling, right? Like, it's different. Makes sense? Dan, what's up, buddy? Setting goals is everything. I've accomplished all the goals I've set out, almost all the goals I've set out to accomplish this year, but the year isn't over. And that's right, guys. We still got like, what, 10% left? Can't believe it's going to be 2023, man. It's insane. My dad keeps giving me a hard time. My dad's going to be 82. He's totally with it, really in great shape. He gives me a hard time because he's like, I'll be 50 this year. And he starts sending me all this bullshit from AARP because I guess 50 is like the year that you could join AARP, which is that's some bullshit. They need to raise that age. That's stupid. Look at me. I don't even look like I'm ready to retire, man. I'm just getting started. I am just wait, dude. Fuck. At this rate, oh my God. Oh my God. So listen, what are some of your goals, guys? Let's put them up there, right? Go official wrestler. Not too soon to start on those 2023 goals either. That's right. And just don't even put a year on them. But you do need to put a date. You do need to put a date. Otherwise, it's just a vision. You got to put a date, and then you break down that giant goal into smaller pieces and put a date on each of those. That's how you get shit done. Okay? So let's see. We got Christopher Evans. Always enjoy watching your podcast. Oh, I'm sorry. Enyon or Enon. I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry. Great content. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Steven popping in. Are the camp warm-ups listed on the Scientific Wrestling website, including Gotch Bible? Glad I could do Hindus before class. No. It's pretty much everywhere. And maybe I should do that because, Carl is associated with us. I should probably put that up on the website. I'll see if I can't find it. Basically, all you do with the Gotch Bible is you take a deck of cards. You got 4 different suits, 2 red suits, 2 black suits. The blacks, for example, would be leg exercises like Hindu squats and then jumpers. You double the face value. You pull a 10 of diamonds. A 10 of clubs. That's 20 squats. Okay. The reds are push-ups. You could do Hindu, half moons. All that is on the Carl Gotch conditioning. So go get the Carl Gotch conditioning for combat sports DVD. That has a shit ton of exercises. Then you just assign the exercises to the deck of cards. And listen, the first time you do it, you're going to be slow. It's just, I've done this a million times, and especially coaching other people. But as you get good, you should be able to bang this out in 12 minutes. Okay. And when we got really good at my gym in San Juan Capistrano, first of all, people loved it. They kept asking to do it instead of the CrossFit workout. I'm going to be real. Second, we would do it back to back. We could be done in a half hour, do the deck of cards twice. Okay, makes sense. Let's see here. We got Go Official digging the cash flow cap. Thanks, bro. Cash flow. And then Dan, Mastermind Martial Arts. At least one of my 2023 goals is to attend as many scientific wrestling camps as possible. Woo! Love it, dude. They are a bargain at their price, and I come away much better every time I do it. Do not miss out on these. Dude, Dan, thank you, bro. And do you guys know who's saying that? Dan, aren't you like a third-degree black belt? Like, dude, this guy is a fucking assassin. But you got to listen to guys that know what the fuck they're talking about. And you got to do what the guys that know what the fuck they're talking about do. Like Dan, Mastermind Martial Arts. All right? I mean, we've really poured a lot of effort and thought and good, serious, badass, high-level elite thinking into these camps. Okay? Valdivilaja, BJJ athlete here. Stumbled on your account and like your content. Try to learn from anyone and everyone. And I agree with you too, dude. There's some people that are like, you train with me, you can't train with these other guys. Or they get people, train with everybody. Train with everybody. Okay? People who tell you not to train with other people are insecure. Okay? Dan says third degree BJJ black belt and judo black belt. Right? Like, dude, the guy is a fucking ninja, guys. And he's seeing the value of what we put together with these high level guys. What I think some people have to understand is that the approach from catch wrestling is different, right? I make funny posts and stuff, you know, teasing people. And honestly, sometimes it's just being polarizing to get the conversation going. I have nothing but the most respect for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I did it for a while. That's where I restarted I went to UFC 2 in Denver in 1994. That's how long I've been very obsessed with this shit. And I did it for a while. Okay. It wasn't for me, but I respect it a lot. So you guys need to know what your goals are. What is your goal? Do you want to be an instructor? Do you want to be a world champion? What is it that is your goal? And then do everything. Find the very best people you can that have accomplished your goal or done something similar or close and get there. Let's see here. Fady says, thoughts on Adesanya and Pereira? Dude, I mean, here's the thing, guys. Somebody's got your number. I don't care how good you are or what goat you are or whatever, okay? Every single athlete. Look at Sakuraba. The guy changed my life. First thing that happened to me was UFC 2. Changed my life, set my path. I was like, fuck. This is my life's purpose. I didn't know exactly what, but I was like, I knew I had to do with this. I sacrificed everything. I moved completely out of state. I suffered. I was poor. I worked my asses off. I got fucked up with injuries, like all kinds of stuff, because I was serious. Second biggest epiphany was Sakuraba, okay? Mowed through everybody. Just unbelievable. That's what set me off. Like, I know. The first thing set me on my journey. The next one was like, I know exactly what I want to do now, okay? Because it's what Sakura. But Wanderlei Silva had his fucking number. Didn't matter. Killed him. Now, other people, Quentin Jackson beat up Silva. I mean, do you guys get what I'm saying here, man? It's like everybody's got Frank Shamrock forever had the world record for the fastest submission for like over a decade. Fastest knockout for like over a decade in the UFC. Still holds the record, like the only athlete to hold back-to-back world championships in under a minute. Okay? A killer. But as he aged, he got taken out by Kung Lee, right? Like, it happens. So, you know, the thing with Adesanya is the guy's a ninja, but Ferreira has his number. I don't know what to say, right? That was a good UFC, by the way. Also, did anybody watch that the mention of Billy Robinson on Tales of the Territories? And I love that show, by the way. I think it's fantastic. They do a really great job. I have to call a spade a spade. I even got an email from Chael Sonnen, dude, like the man, right? Now, by the way, Billy and I, a little known fact, Billy and I were in the room the day before Sonnen Silva won, where Sonnen was the first guy to really take Silva all the way to the end and just lost on a fluke at the end. Billy and I were there and doing a coaching camp at Extreme Couture at the invite of Neil Melanson before then. And so, Chael's real deep on the catch stuff. He sent me an email. He saw it too, like out of the blue. Hey, is that true? Did Billy have a glass eye? And I'm like, my God, dude, now I'm going to have to waste all this time because of the disinformation going out. No, Billy's eye got fucked up when he was a kid. That's the only reason he didn't become a world-class boxer and became a grappler and became the greatest catch wrestler ever, right? Was because he had this eye injury and couldn't get a license. The whole story is actually detailed in Physical Chess. If you go to Amazon, pick up the copy of Billy's autobiography, The Rock, who produces that Tales of the Territory, and the story, of course, was told about Polynesia Pro Wrestling, where his grandfather came through. So, I don't begrudge The Rock. He may think that story's true. Billy didn't begrudge The Rock either, because The Rock said that same tale on an Arsenio show ages ago, and we both caught it. He addresses it in Physical Chess. He actually attributes the misinformation to The Rock's grandmother, who was a promoter and a husband of Peter Maeva, who Billy Robinson got in a fight with, right? Anyway, getting all kinds of crazy. Fady, your second question says, thoughts on Sambo versus BJJ? I don't know, dude. So, sometimes all that stuff, it's good for business, right? So, and that's again why sometimes I post polarizing things. But I mean, the reality of the fact is that there's no answer to it. It's a vagary. It's like, who would win, George Washington versus Abe Lincoln? Like, I mean, dude, like these are difficult questions, right? So let's see here. Ishmael, Prince of Manlet. Hey, irrelevant, but I just randomly came across Matt Fury. Yeah, I heard about him. He was a decent amateur wrestler. I think he was Division II. And he's won some Chinese wrestling and was doing a lot of internet marketing stuff in the 2000s. He got associated with Carl, tried to help Carl out. They had some bad blood. Carl really didn't like him, felt like he was being misrepresented. That, what happened is I printed out some of the things that Matt Fury was printing online to sell stuff and showed it to Carl, and he blew a fucking fuse, dude. And it caused a big stink. But, I wish him no harm. I don't know the guy, and, whatever happened with him and Carl is between them. He hasn't done much as far as I know anymore. He just sells like kind of overpriced, undervalued things on the internet, but it's cool. Johnny Colon, goal number 1, UFC heavyweight champion. Ooh, big goal, dude. That's a big, embarrassing goal, bro. Number 2, start my comic book. Goal number 3, become the go-to scientific wrestling coach in LA. Let's go, dude. You got a lot of work. Okay. I like the goals. Massive action now. You need to get a copy of 10X, 10X rule as well. I listen, guys, I don't make any money off of this. Go get this book. It's fucking sick. It's super good. I mean, actually, I recommend you get it on Audible. I like it on Audible better. Let's see. Mastermind, martial arts. What sucks is fans today have no idea who Sakuraba and Shamrock are. Yeah, it is what it is, man. What can you do? The thing is, this is the irony of UFC. I'm older, and I've been following it since 94 when it first started, and it's changed a lot. And, a guy like Frank Shamrock, he's been kind of thrown down the memory hole and erased because he has some beef. There's some sort of beef with him and Dana White that I don't know all the details to, okay? There is like the UFC before The Ultimate Fighter, and then there's the UFC after The Ultimate Fighter, that TV show. And I want you to understand, do you know what they did? You know why everybody knows of UFC after The Ultimate Fighter and only a few of us like hardcore people did before? Because The Ultimate Fighter leveraged a business model that has worked forever. A professional wrestling studio show. That's what The Ultimate Fighter was. Now, it was a shoot, okay? But it was a studio show. Just like you see now, NWA Power, like Billy Corgan's promotion, tries to do. They're a studio show, NWA. It's all done in a closed set, and they film. That's why it blew up, because it's a tried and true model, man. That's what people like. That's what people. Anyway, yeah. So Stellar Stevens says, I heard other podcasts refute the false story. It's easily disproven. Yeah, it's stupid because I have photos of Billy's eye being jacked well before he even met Peter Maeva. It's in the book. What happened was they were in Japan trying to get some food, and Peter Maeva was like a little drunk and acted like a little loud, and the Japanese didn't really take to that, so they were getting ignored. And Billy was pissed because he was hungry, and he's like, "Stop acting like a fucking idiot." I mean, I'm just paraphrasing. I don't know the exact. I wasn't there, but this is what Billy was saying. And Peter got all fucking, because he's drunk, got mad. Well, I guess they got back to the hotel, and it turned into a fight. And Billy was gonna body locked him, was gonna suplex him, right? And Peter went in to bite his neck and fucking kill him. And Billy tucked his face and got bit in the cheek, had to get tetanus shots and all that. Like, human bites are as dangerous, right? Anyway, so long story short, Billy chucked him. Peter left with a broken nose, 2 black eyes, the whole spiel, and they ended up being friends in the end, with Peter apologizing. But it was not, Billy didn't even have a glass eye. The whole story's just fucking not even anywhere near accurate. And George Gordienko and a number of people were there as witnesses. Okay. Now, of course, Peter Maeva's wife tells a different story, and The Rock picks it up, becomes the most famous TV actor, and then the story gets perpetuated, right? That is what it is. Stellar Steven, I told my boss to look up 10X Rule. Yeah, dude, good book. I like the Audible because Grant's funny. He's easy to listen to, but serious deep level wisdom. But on the Audible, he kind of improvises and riffs, so you get a lot more information off of listening to the audio book. Let's see. Valdivia Elijah. What, if any, would you say is the difference between traditional no-gi BJJ and catch wrestling? Maybe a difference of goals and priorities. Okay, so here's the main thing, right? Like, there are some similarities, and they're merging, right? Because, like, I even hate calling it no-gi BJJ, because, listen, as I understand it, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is done in the gi. 1, okay? 2, I remember a time when Eric Paulson nearly started a fucking riot at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition because he did a leg lock, right? So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu doesn't allow leg locks. I mean, look at IBJJF, like how stunted they are and slow to change. Notice change means you have to be what you were no longer before. So I have a hard time with that. But I will say this, grappling is starting to merge. That's why I jumped onto hybrid grappling way early, right? Because it was kind of an homage. When you hear somebody say hybrid grappling, to me, it's an homage of hybrid wrestling, which is what was the one of the trademarks for Pancras, right? Which was the first MMA group. Actually, Shuto was really the first, but the first in 93 even opened their doors before UFC did. Anyway, if you look at the hybrid grappling, they're looking a lot more and more alike, and you can even see these guys. And it just annoys me because I've been around so long, and I'm trying to actually improve this and change this and get mass adoption, like big level. But everybody keeps speaking in this jerky fucking in language. Ashi this, Ashi. Just say fucking leg lock and stop saying like double wrist lock, but don't say no gi. It's not even a fucking word. Grappling, same syllable, same effort, has a fucking entry in the fucking dictionary. Stop trying to be like so in group and sounding like you're cool. Like you're just turning people off. It's not cool. It's lame. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to riff, but it just is annoying. Like, I'm old and I get crotchety about this shit. So I'm old, man. I qualify for AARP next year. But okay, so here, like if I were to really just kind of as a coach get technical on what is they're very, very similar anymore. Okay, because now you see all these people saying wrestle jitsu, and it's like, again, you could just say catch wrestling, fewer syllables. Wrestle jitsu, catch wrestling. Man, I can more efficiently say catch wrestling, and it's wrestle jitsu or whatever. Now, there are a couple differences here, right? Because all wrestling, folk style, like with the exception of Greco-Roman, but I'm going to make it a point here. Catch as catch can is the direct predecessor of folk style. Like, had catch as catch can not existed, there'd be no folk style, the wrestle part of wrestle jitsu. Okay. If there was no if there's no catch as catch can, there'd be no BJJ, because Count Koma was a catch wrestler, right? Maeda was, you guys might know him, but Count Koma was his pro wrestling name. He was a pro wrestler. Okay. Before he ever taught the Gracie aristocracy anything. Okay. So in a way, it's all kind of catch wrestling. I know that sticks in your craw, but these are just fucking facts, basic facts of grappling literacy that are documented in history. You don't have to believe me. You can go look this up and you're going to come to the same conclusion. It is what it is. I don't know what to tell you there. Okay. Now, the main difference that I see with what people are doing with what's called no-gi BJJ is they focus tremendously on one control position, the guard. Okay. That's kind of what I see as the main difference, is that most of these people focus on the guard as a control position. By what I mean by a control position is it's a position from which to set up your submissions. Now, I'm going to tell you, in catch wrestling, there's like 20 different control positions. Okay. It doesn't have to just be with your legs around another grown man. I mean, if you're into that, cool. And it works for you, cool. Okay. But, I also am old enough to remember when, people asked me, because I had the first forum on the underground, MMA.tv. I don't know if you guys remember that. It's still going. It's great. Kirik, great guy, gave me a forum, the first catch forum there. I think it was the only one, because it was so polarizing, man. It just was a big animosity generator, but big waste of time ultimately in the end, sadly. But people, because I was in contact with Carl Gotch, people would ask me questions to ask Carl, and they'd say, "Hey, will you ask Carl what he thinks of the guard?" And I asked him, and he said, "Listen, man, if somebody gave me their legs like that, if somebody gives you their legs like that and you don't break their legs, you need to quit wrestling." That was his opinion. And now every single, like 90% of people don't even pass to go straight to leg locks. So do you see what I mean? Like, it's converging. This no-gi, just grappling in general is really opening up to catch wrestling. Let's put it that way. Grappling in general, it had been dominated by jiu-jitsu because they killed it on marketing, right? And that's the truth. I look at that as my fault. I need to do way better in my marketing, and I need your help in this grappling literacy side of things. I'm not dogging it. It's awesome. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Most of my clients come from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? For 20 years, man. I've been doing this and touring the planet because of Brazilian people who come into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They dip their toe in with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They're like, "Oh, I could do this." And then they start doing it and realize that they're a lot tougher than they thought prior to doing the jiu-jitsu. And then they realize, I need something harder, mostly because they've had like a decent wrestler, high school or college wrestler, come in without a belt and tune everybody up. And they're like, whoa, that's a wake-up call. I need to figure something out. Okay. So I mean, I don't know, Valdivia, Elijah, if that helps. I see really the main emphasis on this guard control position being the main differentiator. And sadly, they become so dependent on it. They become butt scooters, or these people who they never learn takedowns. They start on their knees constantly. And so they just have to start on the ground like that. And to me, that's why wrestling has done so much better in terms of creating champions than jiu-jitsu, because you don't want to be underneath. And I think it clearly works at the guard, but I think it becomes a crutch. And at a point, this is something Grant Cardone says, every asset at a certain point becomes a liability. Does that make any sense? I don't know if that helps you guys. I'm ignoring a lot of other people. I'll say Valdivia Elijah says, also there's this, is there a specific effective catch wrestling move that kind of flies under the radar in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Well, it was leg locks. And then it just became so undeniable that they had to start doing it. The double wrist lock, that's what Sakuraba broke Hoyer and Henzo's arms with, is there. Nelson's is my opinion. I think that the next place to be exploited by jiu-jitsu, where they go and steal from the catalog of catch wrestling. The twister comes from catch wrestling. The next area I think that will be exploited, and you already see, like you can go to BJJ Fanatics and just look at like what Danaher, now he's talking about pinning. So they've already kind of really mined the data of catch wrestling for leg locks. Now they're looking at pinning. I anticipate probably Nelsons in particular, half Nelsons and cradles will probably also obviously a lot of takedown. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about is that, the catch wrestling, I have a DVD called Catch Wrestling Takedowns, but I to be honest, it really is Greco-Roman adapted to catch can, meaning a submission aware game. I think this is a problem because, sure, folk style evolved from catch, but they took out the submissions, and notice all of a sudden you have a lot of level change. Okay. I think that this is where you see a lot of amateur wrestlers getting caught is on the level change. It is what it is. So, Pancratian Philosopher, what's up, Pacholo? Frank Shamrock should be a Hall of Famer, and it's a shame. He should be a Hall of Famer. Listen, what Dana White has done, a lot of people shit on Dana White. He could probably pay the fighters a lot better, 100%. But he's done some pretty amazing things, right? I'm not one of these people that just throws the baby out with the bathwater. I think it's a real blemish that Frank's not in the Hall of Fame. Even Vince McMahon had guys in the Hall of Fame that like Goldberg is in the WWE Hall of Fame. And Frank Shamrock is not in the UFC Hall of Fame. It's truly like fucked up. Frank was so dominant 4-time. Like, didn't he open up the middleweight title and held it 4 times and not against schlubs? Like, go watch those old fights. It's just unreal. Yeah. Dude, I'm with you 1000%. Ishmael, Prince of Manlets, Shamrock deadlocking what could be considered the face of BJJ at the time is a testament to wrestling. Dude, Shamrock, like, it was the early days, and this is one of the things. So there are certain groups within catch wrestling that are very adamant that there are no chokes in catch wrestling. Okay. That might be true in their little part of the world, but again, they need to open up their minds a little bit to some grappling literacy. I could point to thousands of matches won by choke, including some matches by top Golden Age guys like Frank Gotch and Tom Jenkins and such. So to me, I think that Ken was probably training without chokes, and that's why he got caught in that first match. The world would be different, wouldn't it? What if Frank Shamrock won that fight? There would probably be catch wrestling or shoot wrestling or Lion's Den McDojos everywhere, all the strip malls, and I wouldn't have to be doing what I'm doing. Maybe not, because I don't know if they would have been able to execute on the marketing side as well as how the Gracies did. Let's see here. Stellar Steven out on YouTube says the camp was an early birthday present. Definitely worth it. I hope you're doing well. I know we ran through a bunch of squats. Not as many as we did in the Phoenix camp, by the way. And Stellar Steven, Ken should be in WWE's Hall of Fame. And we probably know why he isn't. Yeah, I saw something to the effect he was talking about. He thinks the reason is because he was close to the Bret Hart family. It did some matches in the dungeon and whatnot, and it was just bad timing. That's the shame, is that a lot of this stuff is not objective. It's presented as objective, but it's not. Valdivia Elijah, haha, leave my Ashigarami alone. Just fucking use English words. Stop being so pretentious. Alan Valandra Do you think it'll ever become an Olympic game? What? I'm not sure what you're asking. Grappling? Or catch wrestling? Because, I mean, freestyle is 118 years later what the Olympics does to catch wrestling. So I may not be super bullish. And they almost dropped wrestling. So I'm kind of like, fuck the Olympics. But they are awesome. And, you know, I mean, you got to look at somebody talented like Jordan Burroughs, man. Like, Olympic wrestling does create fucking assassins. 100%. Mark Schultz. Scientific Wrestling Canada says you'll start to see the pins and the finishers. The finishers, yeah. Beatdown Jim says BJJ has adopted catch wrestling to survive. Yeah. The problem is they will not admit it. Yeah, I know. Dude, listen, you're preaching to the choir. It's so true what you're saying. You're right. Now, if BJJ is confident in BJJ like other systems, then let BJJ be BJJ and catch wrestling. My biggest beef is I don't care. Use the shit because I teach it. And I want you guys to use it. But can't you just give fucking credit where it's due? I mean, this is what drives me nuts. There's a lot of these guys at these high influencer levels that have academic credentials, like master's or PhDs levels credentials. And if you don't cite your sources and act like you made it up, that's called plagiarism. That's an ethical problem, like for real. Valdivia Elijah. I myself focus on the guard and sweeping to top position, but in BJJ, you can clearly see top position developing and being favored because of its ability to fatigue an opponent over time. Yeah, top position is where it's at, dude, period. I mean, you can win underneath, obviously. We've seen it all the time. But we've not seen people spend as much time developing the on-top game as the underneath game, except wrestlers. And mostly these wrestlers that go into grappling then forsake the on-top game because they have to learn the underneath. They think, erroneously, but they think to learn submission. And that's what I'm trying to change. That's my bad that I have not been able to affect that change yet like I want. Ashi Poppy. Now we have the systematic attacks of wrestlers that have turned into leg lockers, taking the kinetic energy from the floor and turning it into leg locks. Listen, I mean, so I think you guys get this, right? Any other questions or anything relevant to goals? I mean, I'll talk all the wrestling you want. We could talk business. We can talk Cardone, all of that kind of stuff. But, I do want to keep bringing it back to this fact that you got to set big goals. We're getting ready for the new year. Everybody does these goals and shit. Make it matter this year, right? Oshki Poppy says, but we also need to know how to get up from being on bottom from a better wrestler, even if we are a wrestler, because we want to prepare ourselves from every athlete, not just decent wrestlers. So, the way we teach, what the scientific wrestling way that I've been able to mine from, here's proper credit, Carl Gotch, Billy Robinson, Wade Shouse, Dick Cardinal, a little bit of Gene LaBelle, a little bit, Frank Shamrock. From Carl, there's 3 phases to wrestling. Standing, on top, underneath. Standing, you guys are equal. It's a 0-0 game. It's tied. Okay, in terms of advantage, in terms of the probability of winning. Okay, just you can look at this in MMA. Not so much grappling, but MMA more so, okay? So standing, 0-0. On top, 1. Underneath, -1. So if I have a -1, that tells me I should try to reverse and get to an advantage, a positive one, or at least stand up and get back to 0, right? 0 is better than -1. Does that make sense? Valdivia Elijah. John Danner has been pushing the idea of wrestling up from the bottom position. Yeah, because it's fucking the right thing to do. So, I saw some clip. I think it was my buddy Brandon Ruiz, who's just a fucking amazing wrestler. FIA World Grappling Games gold medalist. He's another 3rd degree Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who's very deep on the journey with me and catch wrestling. Sent me a clip of Dan O'Hearn, and they were asking him what's next for jiu-jitsu. And it was basically taking wrestling and applying it to do the jiu-jitsu point system. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. Can you just call it wrestling? Can you just say at what point, at least just call it hybrid grappling and give catch wrestling and all its derivatives, folk style, freestyle, even pro wrestling, its due. Give it what it deserves, right? Everybody asks, like, sometimes I'll post these polarizing posts and people are like, why are you always shitting on this? And I never am shitting, honestly. I never am. But they're very insecure about it. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll just give you that. I'll say, yeah, sure, I'm shitting, even though I don't agree, but I'll just agree. Do you guys know what has happened? Like, do you know the history of like luta libre in Brazil, and how like the Gracie family abused these guys? They were rich thugs that were beating down a lot of like Euclid and all those guys, those founders, Tattoo and all those. I mean, it's just not right. It just doesn't sit with me, dude. And I'm a person that fucking raises my hand if I see something wrong. If I'm like, I'm not going to take a vaccine because these things ain't be tested, and I'm not going to make my kids take it, I'm going to raise my fucking hand. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not shitting on vaccines. I'm just like, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, and it's the same thing with the jiu-jitsu bullshit or any of it, right? PCI jiu-jitsu. All Danaher does is take, catch, and re-explain it like he invented it. You're not, dude. I've heard that from so many people, and I'm not totally disagreeing. He has a massive amount of influence, and he's a super smart guy, and he's done a lot for the jiu-jitsu game. I just kind of wish that it would just be a little more transparent. It just seems so obvious to so many people that send me these clips and say basically the same thing. But what can we do? I do wish him the best, and again, it's just I take it personally on myself, my own responsibility that I've not been able to affect that kind of change. So that's more my bad. I can't blame anybody else but myself. All right, guys, we're running up on an hour. I got to go get my kids. If I can help you, hit me up in the DMs. By the way, anybody here ever go to GrowthCon? Dude, I go all the way. That's all I ever do. I get the diamond tickets. You don't even want to know how much those are. Do you know how much diamond tickets to GrowthCon are? Both me and my wife get them. But this year, they're sold out already. Last year, dude, it is the coolest fucking thing ever. If you're into business, like you own your own gym or you're a business person or a salesperson, you need to get there. Forbes calls it the best networking or marketing conference on the planet. And marketing is the key to generating money for your business. If you're interested, DM me. I'll hook you up. In fact, a few of us are thinking of getting a really banging Airbnb in Vegas because it's in Vegas. I'm pretty sure Dana White's going to speak at it. The speakers haven't been announced, but Dana White's getting real close with the whole 10X community. He does 10X Health now. And so I'm pretty sure, I'd be surprised because it's in Vegas if he's not a speaker. I'd be surprised if Grant doesn't get Kanye West. I don't know. He's crazy, dude. He gets some crazy people. But if you have any questions about any of that stuff, GrowthCon 2023, it's on Valentine's Day in Vegas. We've wrapped up the tours, but we're getting ready to do the Scientific Wrestling Accelerator Camp Tours 2023 in spring. I'm doing the schedule as we speak. So if you want to host, DM me. If you want to be our 11th affiliate, again, congrats to Alex Morris for being our 10th affiliate, man. We're going to start having locations everywhere. Oh, Enrico, what's up? Enrico, man, our guys out in Italy. The Italian team grows. 2023 will be there. A camp in Europe or UK to approach more athletes. Yeah, dude, let's figure that out. I want to come back out to Italy. We'll figure it out. Valdivia, Elijah, thank you for answering my questions. Can't wait to pick your brain another time. I will begin studying on catch wrestling. You're pretty convincing. Oh, well, I appreciate that. They're just facts, man. I'm not really doing anything. I'm just presenting the research that I've done in 20 years. Go over to Scientific Wrestling. It's the best place to do so. Enrico, dude, proud of you, man. Love that footage. For those of you on Instagram, you can see the footage of his team. Catch Wrestling Airlines was the tag. Said some dude flying. It was awesome. Alan Valandra, this was awesome. Thanks for your time. No, thanks, guys. Please pass the word. I try to get here as often as I can. My schedule, just so you guys know, like I'll have completed 30 round trip flights by the end of the year. There's only 52 weeks in the year. So I travel a lot. I'm very busy. Plus I run 3 different businesses. I have 3 kids. I take care of my mom. So DM me. I will get to you. And my mission is to help as many people as I can. So I appreciate you guys. And I try, hopefully as my schedule winds down, especially over winter, in winter and summer, I tend to do these podcasts every work day, at least for an hour. So you guys are awesome. Appreciate you tuning in. And hopefully we'll catch you tomorrow.